What's up, everybody? This week we talk Gina Rodriguez, we talk the NBA Hong Kong scandal, Cuba Gooding Jr., and nothing compares to our main topic when Stef tells us the story of the icon Sinéad O'Connor. Stay tuned.
What up, fam? It's good, y'all. Feels good, right? Yeah, I know it do. And without further ado, we broadcasting live from CA to
Did you see that thing I tweeted today, the Nicole Brown Simpson movie?
No.
It's, woo!
Really?
It's like a reimagining.
A reimagining?
It's, oh my God. First of all, there are some wigs in that movie that don't need to exist.
Oh.
What's her name from Orange is the New Black and also from Crossroads, Pennsatucky?
Oh, yeah.
Taryn Manning.
I know who you're talking about.
She plays Faye Resnick.
Oh, interesting.
Mina Suvari plays Nicole Brown Simpson.
Oh, okay.
Some other bitch in a bad wig plays Kris
Jenner, yeah.
But they have her listed. Her character is Kris Kardashian because she was obviously still Kardashian back then.
Wow.
And it's like, what if a serial killer actually killed Nicole Brown?
No. May.
It's something. You
That's
have to
fucked up.
watch it. The trailer is like insane.
Is it going to be on Lifetime or something?
No, it's like a real theatrical movie. But it makes you, it looks like it should be on not even on Lifetime proper, like on Lifetime Movie Network.
That's amazing. I wonder if this one makes the cut with Scorsese and like being actual cinema.
You know what else is funny? I didn't get a chance to watch the debate because I wasn't home.
Oh, I didn't watch it either because I've been prepping for trial.
But Rosario Dawson,
What about her?
she is all up, like, because she's dating Cory Booker.
Uh-huh.
She's like all up, like he's doing his little interviews post to debate and stuff. She's like in the background, going like this, like getting her screen time, making sure her angles are good.
That's just smart on behalf of Cory Booker's team. That's just smart.
They kissing all up on the red carpets and shit. I'm like, you guys.
I mean, May, because look who's president right now, Like, maybe. It's a vibe.
I mean, I'm down for Rosario to be our second lady. That would be dope.
That would be so dope.
Her like traveling around the world, like speaking at the UN and shit. I'm for that. That's
Me too.
cool.
Me too.
But I see you, girl, trying to get your screen time.
Good for her. She's in between movies right now. She's got to get it in somehow. Have you been watching 90 Day Before the 90 Days?
Hell yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Because I heard this fucking rumor and I was like, gonna text you because we always talk about it just in text. Yeah. And I was like, let me just save it for the podcast because we be fucking saying some real serious shit lately in the hot topics. So I heard a rumor that Caesar, Caesar, homeboy, what's his chick's name? Maria from
Ukraine.
The Ukraine? Okay. That he's actually in on the fakeness of his relationship because he just wants to be an actor.
I've heard that, yeah.
Really? I was like, Tell me why I this whole time have been thinking this motherfucker's getting played and he's playing us? Excuse me, Caesar? You are not as dumb as you seem.
I mean, maybe, but also there was a picture he got exposed, like, I guess it was like a Facebook post or something that he made a couple years back, and it's him sort of like not shirtless, but with an open shirt, bare chest, with like sunglasses on in his nail salon. Because remember, he worked at the nail shop.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to look all sexy and shit. And it says something like, oh, that's why I don't fuck with black bitches. Just so you guys know, it's like vanilla for me all day, every day.
Oh, no.
And so I kind of like, I know what the fuck he's about.
Yeah.
So I kind of have like just tried to ignore his storyline, even though it is pathetic.
No, his storyline is real sad.
So I also think like if you're okay, maybe you're trying to be an actor, but why this storyline though?
Yeah, like how is this going to play you in a positive light where you're going to get work after this?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I thought that was interesting.
Hell yeah. Everything about 90 Day Fiancé is interesting.
Don't even get me started on that shit. We could have a whole ass side podcast all about 90 Day Fiancé and all the spinoffs.
I'm actually listening to a podcast called 90 Day Fiancé Cray Cray.
What?
And they have like, they got me into some deep internet holes, some like Instagram holes where I'm following like different accounts and shit.
Yeah.
Because some of the cast members talk to different accounts and spill like tiny bits of tea.
Right.
And
dude, I
these
follow
two-
Darcy like fucking
Oh, that bitch,
like
you
she's
know I
my
fuck with
side
Darcy.
bitch or something. Like I'm all up on her shit.
That's my girl Darcy. You
Yeah.
know I fuck with Darcy.
I fuck with Darcy and all her fucking fake Louis Vuittons.
Well, anyway, the 90 Day Fiance Cray Cray is a good podcast if you guys are into 90 Day Fiance tea.
Hell yeah. How do we get on that?
Yeah, true.
Speaking
gotta
of
give them
90
a
Day
call.
Fiance, I've been wanting to post this on our Instagram, but I somewhat keep forgetting. But I was having a really, really bad week a few weeks ago, and May did the really nicest thing anybody has ever done for me, where she got somebody from 90 Day Fiance to give me a message. So I'm gonna post it on our Instagram. Look out for that shit, and
Okay.
remind me if I don't post it.
Yeah, it was. I feel like I'm not gonna pat myself on the back. I was gonna say yeah, it was sweet, but I wasn't talking about. I was gonna say not about me, but she was really sweet.
She is really sweet. It's Jenny. It's Jenny and from Jenny and Sumit.
Yeah.
Summit. How does she say his name? Summit. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was really, really sweet about it. So shout out to Jenny.
Yeah. I said
You my
to
girl
my brother
right behind Darcy.
right away. He was like, "Hey, I had a bad week too. Tell me to give me a shout out." Yeah. Oh fuck. I would love. Oh, I'm gonna look that up. How much? I'm gonna get Darcy to give you a shout out.
Tell Darcy to buy me something from Taobao.
She knows she got discounts with Angie and shit.
All right, so you guys know what motherfucking time it is. You know we have to talk about Miss Gina Rodriguez.
Gina Rodriguez. Making it look bad for everybody whose last name ends with a Z.
Why does she do that?
I don't know. So, okay, you want to explain what happened just in case people don't know?
Okay, so this week, Gina Rodriguez, you guys know her, Jane the Virgin.
Yeah. Is
Miss
that all she's in?
Bala.
Oh, Miss Bala. I forgot about that.
Yeah, did you see that?
No, my brother did though.
I didn't see it, but I saw the commercial. I was like, no,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
about enough. Like you get the gist of it, you know?
Right, because wasn't Zoe Saldana was in something very similar that looked better.
Yes.
Colombiana, right?
Yes.
I think yeah. I didn't see that either, but I would see that. Anyway, so Gina Rodriguez, who has a history of kind of sketchy anti-Black comments. We'll get into it in a second. We might have even talked about it before. But this week she took to her Instagram and posted a video of herself singing along to the Fugees, and specifically to the one utterance of the N-word.
Seriously, like they never say it.
They never say it. So she said, I could do what you do. Easy. Believe me. Frontin'.
Blank.
And then she said it. Give me heebie jeebies. And she chose that of like every single Fuji lyric that she could have possibly sing along to on her Instagram. She laughed about it in the video.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look what I said.
Yeah.
And then posted that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Like, it would be ridiculous if it were anyone, but specifically her, because she has this history.
Yeah. Also very disappointed. I'm super disappointed because she's a Latinx artist person.
I feel like people have. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. This is like I'm talking about like 2 years ago at this point, because I thought that she had kind of like put her foot in her mouth a few times, and people were calling her anti-Black, and I kind of like felt for her. I was like, she's not necessarily anti-Black.
I thought she was just saying what she was trying to say the wrong way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly that. She says things that she doesn't realize are bad, that in her heart of hearts, I used to think, okay, well, she's not anti-Black. She just doesn't know better. And
yeah. Like
maybe if she listens to the criticism, she might be like, oh shit.
Yeah, like learn from it, grow.
Right.
Yeah, but
then
nah.
So the first, I saw somebody just like really succinctly said a few of the incidents. Like the first thing was it was like the week Black Panther came out.
Right.
She tweeted, Marvel and DC are killing it in inclusion and women, but where are the Latinos asking for a friend?
Right.
Which is like, can we let
can we let them have what this movie?
Some shine.
Yeah.
For
like, do we
second?
need to? This happens within like, I don't want to say subcultures, but like people of color and like, you know, sometimes within like the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Where like one sub portion will kind of like turn on the other sub portion. Famously, this happened with the women's rights and civil rights movement, that like women wanted the right to vote, black people wanted the right to vote. When black people got the right to vote, they didn't give a fuck about the women, and the other way around too.
Right,
you know,
right.
And so like that kind of happens, and that's bad.
so
because white people look at us and they're like, they're fighting.
The girls are fighting. So she did that, and I kind of like, and people jumped down her throat, and that's when I felt for her. I was kind of like, oh, that seems like that's an honest mistake, sort of, but
yeah,
learn something from this girl. And also, there's sort of like erasure there because Tessa Thompson is Afro-Latinx,
and so is Lupita Nyong'o.
And Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
And it's like, so she's kind of like, there's some erasure there, which that's another problem. And then later that year, she like, I guess, helped to organize a lunch with Latinas in Hollywood.
Okay.
And she posted a picture of it with the hashtag with the caption, Fiercely Latina, hashtag Latina Power. Guess who was not included in that luncheon? No Afro-Latinx
whatsoever
at all.
Oh my God.
So that was like kind of like a strike two for me, where I was like, girl, you got a blind spot. But we all have blind spots.
Right. But once again, learn from it, grow from it.
Right. So that's when kind of I had given her the benefit of the doubt, but then I was kind of like, oh, girl, if you don't learn like now, then I can't keep giving you the benefit of the doubt. And like, you are not just like symptomatic of the problem, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, definitely. And so why say the N-word?
Then in 2018, when this was like the incident that blew up, when she was doing an interview with Yara Shahidi, and the interviewer said something to Yara about like, you're such an inspiration for young Black women. And Gina like butted in and was like, no, for women.
Oh my gosh.
Then I was kind of like, oh, girl, you got a problem.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then famously, in response to that, earlier this year, she was on Sway's show. And I think this is what we talked about on the podcast. And she was crying on his show because people were calling her anti-Black.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, and she was like, but I'm Puerto Rican, and we're Black, and my dad's dark skinned, and her dad is not dark skinned, by the way, but she was like, but my dad is dark skinned, and I'm a part of this community, and for people to say that I'm not a part of this community, it was kind of like very fake.
Yeah, I'm the victim.
Yeah, playing the victim. So then people rightfully, I think, were like, calm down, you just need to fix the problem that you have.
Also, just let's say all that stuff is true. You could be a self-hating Afro-Latina.
True.
You know?
Yeah,
do you not know that exists? Gina Rodriguez, in conclusion, you dumb.
So why does a person with this history do this?
Because she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about the Black community, clearly. You know, she's not on their side. She only cares about like her singular issues or whatever.
And she obviously doesn't think Afro-Latinas are Latinas.
Or exist. Yeah. Maybe she just doesn't believe that they exist.
Right.
And then that little clip went viral of her in like film school where she also says the N-word in a
and she said it with her chest.
Yeah,
too.
it says it in like black scent. It's like very, very rude.
So she apologized.
Oh God, twice now.
Twice. The first apology was
such bullshit, like passive. I'm apologizing. It's like sorry that you're upset. Basically, like it's all our problem.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about.
And she didn't even apologize for the use of the word. She said, I'm sorry for singing along to the Fugees.
I know, which I hate that because I do see a lot of people use that as an excuse, like, oh, well, it's part of the song or whatever. But so what? That doesn't mean you could say it. You could memorize a song without memorizing that word, and you will never say it. Or you could do what I do, which is use the word homie as a placeholder. It's gender neutral. Nobody's gonna get mad at you.
True.
And it has the same amount of syllables.
And whenever something like this happens, we have so many people jumping all over the internet saying, but I don't understand why I can't say, but what is there? Okay, if you don't understand by now, why can't you just use your own humanity to say, oh, I guess this group of people doesn't want me to say it. Guess what? Even if I don't understand, I'm just not gonna say it.
Right? I saw this tweet going viral too, where this black guy was like, black people aren't out here fighting to use slurs against, like spick or whatever the fuck. That's the only one I'm comfortable saying. Or like Asian slurs or gay slurs, like they're not out here like trying to justify how they could use those slurs. Why are we trying to justify why we could use that fucking slur?
And then there was like this other, and this is why I don't use the word, because I think that I could probably, use it if I wanted to. Not, but it's also not in like, because we're not from here, I didn't grow up. Nobody in my family like uses it or anything. It wasn't like in my culture. It's just not a habit that I had.
Right.
But there was like this big discourse about like, why can Cardi B say it?
Right. Or
J-Lo, which is like an old.
Oh, that's a whole other problem. Or is it Deezus or Mero that's Dominican?
Mero.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I also don't think that's okay. I know they get away with it, but I just don't do it.
But I think it's a very American thing. Like it's something that you pick up here.
Right.
And especially like over there in New York.
Right,
and not to justify it,
Yeah.
but it's just like it becomes a part of your culture in a way.
Right.
Whereas Gina.
Where are you from? Chino Hills?
It's just, this is like infuriating that I feel like this happens. This is like the blackface thing.
It is, yeah.
Why do we have to keep having this
conversation over and over again? I'm so disappointed that she's a woman and that she's Latina.
Yes. And
making us all look bad, And
that she's like, she takes it upon herself to be this activist, to be, all loud about shit.
Right. But when it's convenient for her or what? Mm-hmm. That's not okay. We need to be on the side of all people who are
all oppressed peoples.
Yeah, all oppressed peoples, always.
Which, speaking of that, that's a good segue into our second hot topic.
LeBron
James. King James, who, if you guys listen to the podcast,
we're fans.
We're fans. Look at the good that he's doing in Ohio with his school,
mm-hmm.
with the charities that he endorses and donates to, with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Mm-hmm. Speaking up against the injustices of the government currently, speaking up against the president.
Right.
Speaking out against.
So the NBA, to promote this season, sent a few teams over to China to play some games. While they were in China, one of the general managers of NBA team, the Houston Rockets, tweeted something that was a tweet in solidarity with the Hong Kong protesters,
right,
who are entrenched in a lot of protests right now,
like
for
crazy protests, not like
this isn't like people aren't singing songs and shit.
Yeah,
like,
this isn't like a parade protest. This isn't like the women's march. This is like
this is serious.
Very, very serious, dangerous protesting.
Tear gas, riot gear.
People are being killed.
So people in Hong Kong are protesting. First, it started out in protest of they were trying to pass an extradition treaty.
Yeah, Fugitive Offenders Amendment Bill.
Right. Which, if you know, China is one of the most oppressive regimes and violators of civil rights in the world.
Right.
If you're convicted of a crime in China, you're like, good luck to you, because we might not ever see you again.
Right.
And they have something like a 99.8% conviction rate. So if they want you to go away, you're fucking going away.
Yes.
Which, as you can imagine, could be dangerous from someone, let's say, who's extradited from Hong Kong for what's claimed to be a crime in China.
Right.
So they started protesting for that, and it's become just a larger protest in general for their rights against the Chinese regime.
Right. They want democratic reforms. They just, it's just turned into this larger movement, which... Good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
So the NBA, as you can imagine, has a lot of vested interests in China.
Obviously.
A lot of money tied up over there.
Of course.
as soon as the Houston Rockets executive tweeted that, China got up in arms and they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We're going to cancel. You're not going to broadcast any games over here for the preseason. They started like pulling a lot of the NBA merch from wherever it's sold in China. It was like a big ass thing.
Right.
So the NBA, I guess, behind closed doors, asked him to take down the tweet, and he did. And he kind of walked it back.
Right.
But then people started asking players and coaches, so what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, like where do you stand, basically?
Right. And first, Steve Kerr, who we also usually love and who's also very eloquent about these sort of things, said, I'm not going to speak about it because I don't know anything about it.
Oh, Demi Lovato.
Which I could kind of, okay, I can respect that. But then, like, when they ask you about it again, like, maybe...
Haven't you looked it up by now?
Right.
Quick
And
Google
also,
search, my dude.
Also, his brother-in-law,
No.
his wife's brother,
No.
is a professor of Asian American studies.
Oh, my God.
So it's like, talk to your brother-in-law, you know, at like Berkeley or some shit.
Oh,
Like,
my God. I just thought you were going to say she's Chinese or something.
No,
That's
no.
That's crazy.
So like the media was like, you haven't talked to your brother-in-law? Anyway, so Steve Kerr, who's very vocal on a lot of issues, kind of stayed away from this one. And then finally they came to
King James.
LeBron James. And he said, instead of standing in solidarity with Hong Kong and with the protesters there, he said, maybe there are some things that we shouldn't speak on.
Oh, no. This is such a disappointment because it's somebody who's been so vocal about different oppression, about human rights, about justice, and...
Until it affects your bag.
I know. That's super shady, my dude.
It's so shady.
It kind of puts you in the camp of like the Jay-Z.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really, really disappointing.
And then he said something like he was criticizing the Houston Rockets executive and said it was a bad look on his part because he's putting our like players at risk. He's putting like our money at risk, basically, is what he was saying.
Right.
Which is even shittier because like it's like you're putting it out there.
So you're like acknowledging that that's why you don't want to comment on this. That's fucked up. It's so fucked up.
I hate this so much.
I know, me too.
It.
Yeah, it's really, really disappointing. It's especially because it's so hard for the protesters out in Hong Kong, right? Like they need solidarity. They need support from all of us, and they don't have it. So then did you see that the protesters marched with American flags?
They did?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. That's so sad. We're really privileged, and it's really privileged to be able to say like, oh, I'm not going to comment on that because it doesn't affect you or whatever the fuck. But you can't. Yeah. Humanity is not up for debate. Like, we have to just stand by them and support them any which way you can. Like, if all it is just saying something, if that's all we could do from here, then why not fucking say it? Yeah. What are they going to do? You have so much money. Like, you don't need it anymore.
And this is another example, like Gina Rodriguez. Are you only worried about yourself?
Exactly.
Because, like, if you're only going to talk about Black Lives Matter, then, like, why should other groups support that movement?
Exactly.
If you're not going to give reciprocal support to people when they need it.
And other movements that maybe you're not a part of or don't directly affect you.
And this is so easy.
It's
like,
so easy.
It's like they're marching for basic civil rights for human rights. Right. It's like that. This is almost like it shouldn't be up for debate.
No.
What is there?
What is there to debate?
Right. I'm just so disappointed.
Me too. That's a really, really, really tough one.
At least he didn't rape anybody. Kobe Bryant.
Speaking of sexual assault, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Ooh.
All these topics are so intense.
It's that time of year. It's the most
wonderful
problematic time. Oh shit. I was going to text you this. There's a Wikipedia. You know how there's like different Wikipedias for like fandom and stuff?
Oh yeah, it'll like Murderpedia or like Officepedia or...
Yes. I found one called Encyclopedia Problematica.
May, oh my god.
And I feel like it's a treasure trove of stuff for this podcast.
I want to go to there. I would go to like the Museum of Drama, and it's just a bunch of fucking like pictures and like I don't know, artifacts of dramatic events.
Dude, we
And
should
pop
do one of
culture.
those pop-up museums.
We would have to put together a bunch of money to get a bunch of shit, but yeah.
Yeah, or we could get like those old wax figures from like those shitty like fucking Hollywood Boulevard wax museums.
Yeah, like the
and
ones
have,
that are like sent off to these other B-list museums
Yeah.
because they're whack.
yeah, and have like Brad Pitt, Angelina, and Jennifer Aniston in one.
Yeah.
Fucking Pee-wee in a movie theater with some movie theater seats and shit.
I don't remember why I was thinking about Pee-wee the other day. I think I saw some pictures of him and like he's not a bad looking dude.
He's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like so sad for him.
I think my only issue with Pee-wee is that his foundation is a little bit too white.
And the blush is like so red. It's like grandma red.
Right. You need to go sit
Blend
at
a little bit.
Go sit at the makeup counter at fucking Macy's.
Can somebody get Pee-wee Herman a fucking beauty blender for Christmas? Motherfucker needs help.
I think it's because his only friend is Elvira, right? They use the same shade. Shout out to Elvira. Your titties look fantastic, girl. I just saw you the other day on TV looking fucking great.
Dude, Elvira has looked the same my whole ass life.
Yep.
Right?
Good for you.
Yeah.
Elvira's a cool kind of fame because she could take off all the shit and just like go about her business. She could go to the supermarket and shit.
Yeah, that is cool. I also feel that way about Daft Punk. That's a really cool
Oh yeah, for
level
sure.
of fame.
They could just be walking down the street.
Nobody
I
knows.
wouldn't know a thing.
Sorry to this man. I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous.
Maybe we're gonna get so tired of us saying that, but I'm never gonna get tired of that shit.
Me either. I say that shit all the time.
Me too. Even in my head, like I'll just be like, "Who that?" Sorry to this.
Oh. Okay, so Cuba Gooding Jr., dude.
Yeah.
So have you seen the picture of him with that KFC chicken bucket on his head?
Yes. What is that from?
I don't know, man. And I saw a video going viral of him at the club all fucked up. Did you see that?
Is that the incident that he's being arrested for?
I don't know, but he's screaming into a mic.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. He's all fucked up at this club, which Cuba Gooding Jr., what are you doing at a club, sir?
Yeah. How old are you?
And you are an Oscar-winning actor.
Yeah. He got the Oscar at like the bottle service, like at the table and shit. Everybody comes by to look at it.
No, man, he says something really crazy like, somebody needs to suck this kid's dick. He's just like yelling into the
What?
crowd and stuff. Yeah, it's so
What
weird.
kid?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. This is so inappropriate.
Damn. Word on the street is he's got problems, allegedly.
No, he
Like,
does got
lots
problems.
of drug and alcohol problems.
Right.
But so what's up with him? He got arrested he turned himself in, right?
Right. Okay, so he pled not guilty to the sexual misconduct charges, and then 12 new accusers surfaced
Shit.
with sexual abuse allegations. The 2 charges he's facing right now are misdemeanors from the same accuser in regards to an incident that happened at a rooftop bar in June. At Tao nightclub in LA? That's ghetto. What are you doing there? Ew.
Okay, there's security camera footage of that event, I think.
Really? And he's still pleading not guilty.
Not the actual groping, but like the immediate before and after.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Somebody said he said for her to sit on his face. Somebody said he tried to lift up her skirt and like shoved his pelvis area onto him.
Oh, no.
Another girl said that he reached under her skirt. Wow.
So it's all the same.
It's all
the same
similar.
stuff.
Yeah. It's like a pattern of.
Yep. All right. So that's his thing.
Yeah. That's super weird. Oh, I see the groping for the one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
He needs to get help.
Yeah, he definitely needs help. He needs to get sober,
Right.
get working, like start working again. Or maybe actually, let's not give this man a job.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, don't give.
He made his money. He did Snow Dogs.
Yeah,
he did. What was the one on the cruise ship or something? He's got an Oscar. He could go away.
Yeah, he could go away.
But he does need to get sober though, because it sounds like otherwise he's just gonna keep doing this shit.
Yeah, path of destruction.
Yep.
Ooh,
Shout out to his brother Omar Gooding.
senior.
No. Do you remember him? He was on. Do you remember that show when we were kids? It was on Nickelodeon. It was called like It was like a show where kids would have to do like obstacle courses, sort of.
Okay. There were so many of those when we were kids.
I know. Not Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh, that was about Family Feud, or what was that one called? Family
Double Dare?
Double Dare. That one was my favorite.
Wild and Crazy Kids.
Oh my God. I do remember that.
Sometimes they would go in a mall and like run through the mall.
Those are tight. Why don't those still exist?
I know. Kids with their fucking tablets and shit now.
I know, man. Kids are so whack. Why don't y'all get jobs? Do something with your life. Instead of fuck around on TikTok, which I don't understand. Is it Vine? It looks like the same shit to me.
It looks like Vine. Then why did they shutter Vine?
I don't know, man. It don't make no sense to me.
Hey, you know what show of those I always wanted to go on? Guts.
Oh, I don't remember Guts.
That's the one where at the end the two kids with the highest points would have to climb a mountain, sort of.
Oh, that's tight.
It was like American Gladiators
for pups,
but for kids. Yeah,
that's cute.
Yeah, that one was tight.
Why is everyone else having such a good time when you're not? Why do they always leave you out? Do you look different? Is it some way you act? What makes you the outsider? The outsider. The one nobody asks.
All right. What up, everyone? My name is Stephanie.
And hey, guys, my name is May, and together we are El Club de Drama.
This is a podcast all about celebrity scandals, gossip, movies, film,
life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, apparently.
Pending criminal charges against former celebrities.
People we stan who have disappointed us.
Yeah. Just some real ass shit. This is a real ass podcast.
Yeah, you know what it is.
It's my turn this week.
All right. What you doing?
I'm going to do the story of the self-proclaimed rock and roll Joan of Arc, Sinead O'Connor.
I love this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
This one's also kind of heavy. Fuck. Actually, this week I was like, man, maybe I'll do Dolly Parton, something light, where she doesn't really have fucking drama, you know? For this, I used an Atlantic article called The Redemption of Sinead O'Connor. I watched her behind the music. I browsed Wikipedia, and I went to church.
Hey.
So Sinead was born in Dublin, the third of 5 children, to Sean, who was a barrister, and Marie, who was a stay-at-home mom.
What is is that a lawyer or is that a judge?
I don't really understand what it is. I think it's like around that vicinity.
Okay.
She was born on December 8th, 1966. Her family was middle class, like typical Irish fam. Mm-hmm. Her parents separated when she was in grade school. Sinead has commented throughout the years of the type of abuse she suffered from her mother.
Oh, shit.
She accused her mom of hitting her almost every day, and her brother has confirmed that their mother was extremely violent, both emotionally and physically. Ooh. But Sinead also says that she suffered sexual abuse.
At the hands of her mother?
She doesn't say specifically that it's her mother.
Okay.
But she says that she suffered sexual abuse, and we'll get to it right now.
Okay.
Okay, so Sinead prayed a ton as a kid, and she grew up like a very Catholic Irish family. Mm-hmm. She said that while she would pray all the time to get out of her house and to like kind of escape all of the abuse that she was suffering, and that she had visions of spirits who told her that she was put on the earth to stop the kind of abuse that she suffered from.
And that's as a kid, basically?
A kid. She says, I mean, she says this as an adult, but she says that this happened to her as a kid.
Well, like imagine having that weight on your shoulders as a young child, as a young person.
Yeah. In 1979, she went to live with her dad and his new wife after her dad sued for custody of her and her brother.
Oh, just
her and her siblings. Sorry, her and her siblings.
Okay.
2 years later, when she turned 15 years old, she was caught shoplifting, and that led to her being placed into an asylum for 18 months.
What?
This institution was called the Magdalene Laundry, which is run by the Catholic Church, who runs most schools in Ireland.
Uh-huh.
It's full of teenage girls that are judged too promiscuous or uncooperative for civil society.
Oh my God. Speaking of this, there's a show on Netflix called Dairy Girls.
Uh-oh.
That is, no, it is so fucking funny.
Oh, okay.
It's about like girls about this age who go to like a Catholic school for like girls like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's 2 seasons. It's only like 6 episodes each. You can watch it in like, I don't know,
Ooh, I gotta
3
watch
hours.
it.
It's so funny. But you got to watch it with subtitles because you know how they fucking talk.
Yeah, for sure. So Sinead worked at the Magdalene Laundry in the basement, washing priests' clothes with bars of
God
soap.
damn it.
I know.
So not only is she at this school, but they're also like banished her to the fucking basement.
Yeah. They studied constantly and they had no contact with their families. But one good thing that came from this asylum is that the nuns encouraged Sinead's interest in music, and they bought her first guitar.
Oh, sweet.
So she was able to focus on music writing and singing while living there, but she hated all of the rules and restrictions. And the nuns disciplined the girls severely, and then they would send them off to sleep at the adjoining nursing homes if they were bad. And
whatever that was.
Yeah, whatever, like
what, like smoking a cigarette or something?
exactly, or talking back or something.
Yeah.
Which they all did.
Yeah.
And Sinead said that the terror of being sent off was kind of like constantly looming over them. Like they were always like warned.
Yeah.
And just FYI, so I think that maybe the sexual abuse must have happened here. She doesn't say that. She never says where it happened.
Okay.
But in 2011, one of the Magdalene laundries in Dublin was investigated and they found a mass grave with 22 unidentified bodies inside.
I was going to say, there's a documentary about that.
Yep.
And it's really creepy.
It's super creepy. And these institutions have been investigated by the United Nations Committees Against Torture. So obviously,
Yeah,
it must have been horrendous.
Yeah. Fuck.
So Sinead decided that she wanted to pursue putting together a real band while she was at this asylum. And she was able to get out 18 months later, and she started waitressing. And then in 1984, at age 18, she placed an ad in the newspaper and put together a band called the Tauntaun Macoute. Sinead dropped out of school to tour with this band around Dublin, and they started getting a little following and they were getting positive reviews. They were inspired by world music, which led to a ton of attention because you didn't see that as much around at the time.
In Ireland?
Yeah, in Ireland.
Or like in general?
In general. And Sinead's singing and overall stage presence, obviously.
Yeah.
Just like everybody was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and she's got a fucking face like nobody's business.
Seriously. Sinead quickly was noticed by executives in the music industry and was signed by a small record label called Ensign Records, who up until this point was known for signing the Steve Miller Band, the Stylistics, and the Boomtown Rats.
Dope.
They set her up with U2's former manager, who had recently been fired by U2 for complaining about them in an interview.
Damn, I would have been fired in like 5 minutes too, because I would hella be complaining about the Edge.
How fucking annoying do you think Bono is?
Oh God, back then maybe not so much.
But now, doesn't he seem so fucking like self-righteous and annoying?
Full of himself. Yeah.
Oh God.
Ugh.
If I was around him, I'm sure I'd just like roll my eyes to death.
Yeah. Sigh. Ugh.
Oh God. So this dude it kind of was a bad idea to set him up with Sinead because he talked shit and he was outspoken about politics and like he didn't give a fuck. And then Sinead just kind of followed in his footsteps. Like she was like she was like, all right, well, I'm going to be like him. Like, this is my manager, you know?
Yeah. And plus she's like 18, 19, right?
Yeah.
So she's like mouthy. Everybody's mouthy at that fucking age and shit.
For sure. On February 10th, 1985, Sinead's estranged mother was involved in a car accident and she died.
No.
They hadn't spoken to each other in over 4 years, but Sinead attended the funeral with her siblings and she grieved heavily, saying that no matter what, she knew that her mother did love her and her siblings.
Those kinds of deaths are always strange because you think to yourself, okay, so that person should be not
relieved?
Yes, not necessarily relieved, but you're just like, oh, okay, well, that person's not here to hurt me anymore, and that that pain is gone. That part of my life is over, I guess.
Right.
But at the
It's
same
never
time,
like that though. Yeah.
and then it's also like it takes away your chance of ever having any sort of closure.
Right. It's just kind of like an ending,
Yeah.
but not necessarily something that's finished. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. So it's like you.
Once again, can we get a psychotherapist up in here and explain what the fuck this is? 505-539-0556.
I'm surprised no psychologist or psychotherapist listen to this podcast, because we talk about a lot of like people with a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I'm surprised they don't study us in Harvard, to be honest.
In Harvard.
Like, what the fuck are you guys doing over there? Get your shit together. So she had just signed on that record label, but then her mom died, so she took time off to grieve and used the time to write some more music, and then moved from Ireland to London to focus again on getting together an album. She got married for the first time right around now to her drummer, John Reynolds.
Never marry a drummer.
They had been dating a month when she told him that she was pregnant. And the record label, as well as John, freaked out collectively.
Oh my God. And this is Ireland.
Right. Sinead said that the record label sent her to go see a doctor who pressured her to have an abortion. And then she was convinced that she was going to lose her record deal unless she had the abortion. So she initially decided to go forward with it, but later backed out at the last second.
Okay.
So then her first son, Jake Reynolds, was born right before her first album dropped.
Wow.
She was like 19 years old or something when she had that baby. No, I think she was 19 when she got married and like 20 when she had the baby. And then in 1987, she's 21 and she dropped her first album named The Lion and the Cobra. And it was a fucking bop.
Motherfucking bop.
And she got nominated for a Grammy for Best Female Rock Vocal Performance.
Woo, well deserved.
Everybody fucking was all over Sinead because she was so fucking unique. She had a shaved head. She had shapeless clothing. She was super outspoken. She was 1,000% an individual, and people noticed her.
Right.
And Sinead said that she shaved her head as a way to speak out against the traditional views of women. And later then it became kind of like a trademark. So she kept it. And she says now she doesn't really feel like herself unless she has her head shaven.
And that's interesting. I didn't know she still had her head shaved.
Yeah.
Because sometimes she wears
hijab.
Like, hijabs and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
And she said in her behind the music, she said something funny like, in the late 90s, I would let it grow out a little bit, but then people would confuse me with Enya. So then I would shave it again.
Wow.
Originally, I guess the record label asked her to grow her hair out long and to dress in like more feminine clothing. Mm-hmm. So shaving her head was a way to show them that she would be the one to dictate her own image and she wouldn't be taking their shit. And then
I just wanted to say that my favorite Sinead song is on that album, Troy. And if you want to listen to that song, I suggest going on YouTube and listening to the live versions, because it's just like
do that with all of her songs.
With all her songs, really, honestly, yeah. It's just like, what a live performer.
Yeah.
Just, wow.
So the record label producers say that when she walked into the studio with a shaved head, they were all like blown away because she's a fucking knockout. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
She's so beautiful.
Has anyone ever looked that good with the shaved head ever?
No, maybe Natalie Portman, but that's because they look so similar.
Yeah, true.
And then another huge thing that made her kind of stand out is that she was the complete opposite of the reigning pop star Madonna, who was like uber sexual and putting it all out there.
Right.
Sinead's song Mandinka and I Want Your Hands on Me were huge hits. And then MC Lyte remixed I Want Your Hands on Me. And so she got like extra play around the time. So she was huge.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Sinead said that she didn't really understand the enormity of what was happening to her at this time because it was her first album and it was huge. She was nominated for a Grammy. She was everywhere.
Right.
But she says looking back, she didn't really put two and two together until much later. She was just like on the road playing shows, cheating on her husband and shit.
Yeah. Shaving her head and shit. That shit takes a lot of time. Trust me, I had a shaved head too. That shit is like...
Yeah, you gotta do it every other day, basically.
Yeah.
Sinead's second album, I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got, got her way more attention and released to super positive reviews. And this is the one with the breakthrough hit, the cover of Prince's song Nothing Compares to You. Sinead said that she thought of her mother while singing this song.
Oh my God.
I know. This is one of my favorite love songs of all time.
One of my favorite music videos also.
Oh, let's talk more about the music video in a second.
Okay.
But yes, beautiful music video. I've watched it like 10 times this week. In 2014, just to fast forward a bit, Sinead said that after this song came out, Prince called her and invited her over to his house because she had recorded the song without him and she had never met him before it came out, and then it became a huge hit.
Wow.
So he called her to his house and allegedly started telling her that he was super proud of her and what she had done with the song, but he didn't like how she talked in interviews and he didn't like that she cussed a lot. So Sinead said she told him to fuck off.
Yes. Why would he? Who invites someone over to their house to talk shit?
Prince, man, that's who. Doesn't
And the
that seem
motherfucking
like
Queen
him?
of England. Like,
Yeah.
damn, to be a fly on the wall in that conversation.
Imagine.
Wow.
Okay, so this song was remixed by Public Enemy, and Sinead was everywhere. She was asked to perform with Pink Floyd in Berlin. She was asked to appear in all these different TV shows. She was constantly on MTV. She won a shit ton of Grammys that year, and you know, she was so cool about everything. Like, she was like, whatever. Like, she showed up to the Grammys in sunglasses and like a t-shirt, you know?
Yeah. Didn't she show up to also the American Music Awards in like big ass baggy jeans?
Yes.
And just like a crop top.
Yeah. At the same time, her marriage was pretty much over because she was constantly on the road and she was seeing less and less of her son.
Who was he? He was with
The dad.
the dad.
Yeah.
But I thought he was in her band
Originally, but not anymore.
Okay.
In 1990, she released her third album called Am I Not Your Girl, which was a bunch of covers and had pretty poor reviews in comparison to her prior two albums. And that same year, she was nominated for another Grammy, but she voluntarily withdrew her name from consideration. And she said that this was because she had to assert her disdain to the materialism within the music industry.
This is like when Fiona Apple won that VMA and she was like, the world is bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, it reminds me of like Joaquin Phoenix talking shit about like Oscars and stuff, but then he shows up to the Oscars and stuff. So this was kind of everywhere when she did this because it's kind of a big ass deal, you know?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It's
like when Marlon Brando didn't show up to the Oscars.
Yeah, definitely. She was saying that she thinks that artists should reject the materialism within the music industry because it ruins their work, it ruins music, and it ruins the world.
Well, I mean, obviously it's not a blanket statement to say that's always true, but sometimes it's true. Like when artists lose touch, when they get like too rich and stuff, like then their art starts to fucking suck.
Yeah, for sure.
Kanye.
Speaking of Kanye, did you see that he's making a movie?
No.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come out Friday or something. It's called Jesus is King.
Oh.
So after she dropped out of or withdrew herself from the Grammy nomination, she was set to play a show in New York, but she refused to play the concert unless the stadium promised not to have the United States national anthem played before her show. The Performing Arts Center agreed, but this led to significant controversy. Mm-hmm. New York Senator Nicholas Spano urged the public not to attend the show, and then radio jockeys all over New York started banning her music from their stations, and it was all over the news and everything.
Why the fuck would they want to? Why would they play the anthem before a
That's what I was
concert
thinking
anyway?
With all this. Like, I don't remember the last time I've been to a concert where they play the national anthem.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Yeah. In response, Sinead issued a statement saying that she has no disrespect for America or Americans, but she has a policy of not having any national anthems played before concerts because she feels that they have nothing to do with music in general.
You're right.
She then went on a rant about the censorship of music, which was kind of a hot topic at the time because Two Live Crew had just been arrested in Florida for obscene lyrics during a concert.
Right.
So yeah, she's not wrong.
I feel like that's gonna be a theme throughout Sinead's story where you're like, damn, she's right.
No,
like,
she's not wrong. Yeah.
But at the time, I guess,
yeah,
I don't know. Well, it was a different. It's actually kind of a long time ago.
Yeah, it's 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra stepped into the ring with this debacle, and while performing at his own show in New York, publicly said that he wished he could meet Sinead O'Connor so he could kick her in the ass.
What a piece of shit for that one.
Yes. Sinead responded on MTV a few weeks later saying, I think old Frank probably needs a bit of publicity, but I also think being kicked in the ass by him would be an honor.
Got him.
Yeah. So Sinead was kind of unbothered by the whole shit, and she was like, you know what? Fuck this. And she went on to join the Parnell School of Music in Dublin to work on her singing.
Oh.
In 1991, she became pregnant, but she had an abortion after things didn't work out with that father. P.S. She's still married at this time.
Ooh, and she's also like still religious?
Yeah, she's still Catholic.
Ooh.
She then wrote a song called My Special Child about the experience about having an abortion.
Wow.
On October 3rd, 1992, Sinead was set to perform on SNL as the musical guest. She sang an a cappella cover of Bob Marley's War from the 1976 Wailers album Rastaman Vibration.
That song is a motherfucking bop.
I mean, like most of Bob Marley, right? But
yeah. But that one is like
it's one of the best.
Poetry.
Yeah. But like you know when people ask that question, like, oh, what album would you take with you if you were on a deserted island? I always think like a Bob Marley one. Like you're never gonna get tired of it. Anyways,
but it's too literal because you're like on an island.
Oh, yeah.
Like the island. It's like I would take a Bob Marley album and a bottle of Malibu. No.
What's wrong with that? Why are you such a bitch?
Oh my god!
You don't want to have a good time or what?
I bought one of those sopas Maggie, but the cream, like the cream of chicken one.
Ooh, that sounds
but
bomb.
They're so bomb. I was craving it because like I grew up on that, and then like a couple nights ago I was like I'm gonna make that shit. I started to make it, but then I realized that you needed to have milk. You need to add milk because it's cream.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't have any milk.
Oh.
But I had coconut milk.
Oh, that's a bop.
So I was like, yo. So I opened a can of coconut milk, put that shit in there. Tasted like chicken Malibu.
Really?
Pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Damn, man, you a fucking chef, dude. Watch out. Bon appetit.
Bone apple teeth.
Bone apple teeth. All right, so she's on SNL. She's performing War. Mm-hmm. War is a song. It's an anti-apartheid song. Sinead changed the lyrics to represent the battle of abused youth rather than racial inequality by changing the lyric racism to child abuse.
A queen.
During the end of the song, while singing We Have Confidence in Good Over Evil, she held up a picture of Pope John Paul II and tore it up into pieces, tossing the tattered pieces directly at the camera while saying, "Fight the real enemy."
Wow.
The audience was completely silent. Silence.
So I remember reading or hearing that during the rehearsal, she did it with somebody else's picture.
Yeah. Okay, so Lorne Michael said the air literally went out of the studio, and this was obviously fucking gigantic. But yeah, SNL executives said they had no knowledge of Sinead's plan because during dress rehearsal, she had held up a photo of a refugee child and she hadn't changed the lyrics to the song. And she didn't tear up the picture of the child or make any gestures. So they were expecting her to hold up a picture, but not of the Pope and not to tear it up. They didn't expect her to change the lyrics.
Right.
Or to say fight the real enemy. Mm-hmm. NBC Vice President of Late Night Rick Ludwin said that while watching the show, he literally jumped out of his chair.
You worried about his bag?
Yeah. Personnel in the control booth said that they tried to cut away from the singer once she started tearing up the picture, but it was too late because everybody was just in shock for a second.
Yeah.
And by the time they were like, fuck, we have to do something, it was already over.
Right.
The New York Daily News called the event a holy terror, with NBC receiving more than 500 calls the next day and 400 more the following Monday. In total, NBC received 4,400 calls from viewers who criticized Sinead and the network for allowing this to happen.
You know, this is hard because she's protesting something that is an epidemic and is
so significant and important.
Yes. And protest, I think, inherently, or when it's most effective,
spark a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's bloody. It's not bloody. No, because it doesn't necessarily have to be violent.
And it shouldn't be violent.
Right. It shouldn't be violent, but it's like it's ugly, and it like puts a finger in certain wounds and sparks people to action.
Right.
And I think that this kind of checks all those boxes.
Right.
What I don't like about it, though, is in particular that this Pope had been shot at.
Yeah.
An assassination attempt.
Yeah.
And it's like when you
also because
the
I don't know this May, but like May and I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
And like
and he's
JP2 is huge too,
huge.
especially to Latinos. Like,
yeah. It's like it's not unusual to have this Pope's picture in your house.
No. And I'll get to this, but the picture that she ripped, it was her mom's that was in her mom's,
like her literal,
like literally her mom had this photo above her bed her whole life.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, so it's like, because this Pope had experienced violence against him, I don't know if it's safe
to make those kind of gestures.
Yeah. That's why otherwise, like, I'm kind of with her.
For sure. I think the message she was trying to make.
Right. I think it works, but just because of the violence that this Pope had encountered, I don't know
if in bad taste.
I would have done it.
Yeah. So
it's dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. So there were rumors around the time that the FCC was trying to fine NBC, but this had no merit because the FCC can't regulate ripping up a fucking picture.
Right.
NBC since then edited out this part of the performance, and it was never again aired on TV. Like, famously, it was never again aired until actually in 2010 on MSNBC with Rachel Maddow. And now, of course, it exists 24/7 on YouTube.
Yeah.
Lorne Michaels later commented that the incident was, quote, on a certain level a betrayal, but also a serious expression of belief, which that's a smart take.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
The very following week, Joe Pesci was the host of SNL, who is a very, very Catholic Italian-American man with a big attitude.
Yeah.
Joe held up the exact same photo of the Pope, explaining that he taped it back together, which led to huge applause from the audience. He also said that if it had been his show, he, quote, would have given her such a smack.
I don't like that.
He also held up a picture of Sinead and then tore that up into pieces.
So how is that better?
I don't know. And finally, he ended by saying that JP2 forgave the man who shot him, and he's likely not bothered by Sinead's action, but she should watch out if she should want to deface any images of Italian popes.
Oh.
Yeah. It's so cheesy and just bad.
And then, are you going to talk about Madonna?
Yes.
Okay.
Catholic raised Madonna then appeared on SNL the same season, and after singing Bad Girl, she held up a picture of Joey Buttafuoco. I can't even say it. Joey Buttafuoco, and said, "Fight the real enemy," and tore it up.
I don't know how to feel about that, because on the one hand, it's really funny. Like,
yeah,
I gotta give it to you.
The Joey Buttafuoco story too. Yeah.
And also, she's Catholic, so and she's also like kind of with Sinead on that sort of fight of like fighting the oppression of like the Catholic Church. But on the other hand, it's trivializing
what Sinead did.
Yeah.
Madonna also talked shit about Sinead in the press, famously saying, quote, "I think there's a better way to present her ideas rather than ripping up an image that means a lot to other people," which I agree with, kind of.
Yeah.
The New York Times shaded Madonna after that, saying that she was just pissed because Sinead had stolen her spotlight, because at this time Madonna was promoting the book Sex and her album Erotica, trying to be controversial and making hella effort to do so.
That's true.
When all Sinead did was rip a picture, and she became fucking enemy number one.
Yeah, that's true.
2 weeks following the incident, Sinead was set to perform at a Bob Dylan tribute concert in Madison Square Garden, and she was famously met with boos and cheers, and like some cheers too, but the noise was so loud that she couldn't start her song. So then she took off her earpiece, and she just screamed over the audience a shouted rendition of the same Bob Marley song War, and then she stopped right before getting to the part where she would have torn up the Pope's picture, and then she famously walked off stage and collapsed and started crying.
Is that the same show where Chris Christopherson like hugs her?
Yeah, he grabs her off stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not they're like slightly off stage. There's video of this.
Right. Shout out to him for that. Yeah.
Seriously. So why did she do it, right? For months, I mean, we all know why now, but for months after the SNL performance, people spoke about the motives regarding this protest on TV. And she did spark a national conversation.
You know, I think that's one of the reasons why this failed, I think, at the time. It's almost like if you're not going to be clear with what your intentions are, it's like, then what was the point?
It's also like, okay, so no one really dove deep into what she was talking about. People were mostly talking about what a moment this was in TV and like TV censorship, like artists as activists and women as activists, because a lot of people just grouped Sinead in with Madonna and tried to, and like just thought that she was protesting like the Vatican's positions on women's rights. Since she is also an outspoken feminist, people just thought like, okay, well, Sinead's a single mother and Catholicism is so deep within Ireland. Of course, she's mad about like how they discourage contraception, they're against abortion, and she's kind of like an abomination in the eyes of the church, right?
Yeah.
But so then everyone was conveniently overlooking the song she sang and the lyrics she replaced because she literally says child abuse.
Yeah.
1 month after her performance, Sinead gave an interview in Time magazine and said that she wasn't protesting the Pope himself, but the office and the symbol of the organization manifesting in child abuse in Ireland. She said, quote, "In the schools, the priests have been beating the shit out of the children for years and sexually abusing them. The people of Ireland are controlled by the church, the very people who authorize what's being done to them." She also said that she had prayed so much that when she was a child, that she talks about like how she remembers seeing spirits and like that it was her duty to like try to stop this type of child abuse that she suffered as a child.
Yeah.
But even the interviewer in Time was kind of confused about the connection that Sinead was making between the church and child abuse. So then Sinead started talking about how when she was sent to school, she was beat up and that nobody did a thing about it. And that as she grew up, she learned that her mother had also been a victim of abuse, both in school and at home. And obviously she kind of blames the church for this cycle of abuse.
Yeah, it was institutional.
Of course. And just for reference, the Catholic Church controlled 93% of all schools in Ireland.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, so Sinead is saying like the abuse isn't a failure within the system, it's the system itself, like how you're saying.
Right. Oh, Sinead.
So
I feel for you, girl.
So then in this interview, Sinead is when she says like, that picture is the picture that was on my mom's wall, quote, since the day the fucker was enthroned in 1978. So ripping up that picture specifically was also a symbol of her own personal history of abuse and trying to break that cycle. Unfortunately, people just didn't know what Sinead was talking about. And she didn't explain it, I guess, as well as we needed her to, or the public needed her to. I don't know.
But also, it's like people weren't ready to have that conversation.
Exactly.
So you can't have a meaningful conversation about that if the person you're talking to has their fucking fingers in their ears.
Exactly. Everybody kind of conveniently wants to turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
Especially because what we know now is so fucking horrendous.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And, it makes me so fucking mad and sad and
just it leaves like the worst taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
And I also think that it was kind of easy for people to dismiss her because she's Sinead O'Connor, because they're like, what the fuck does this grumpy drunk singing girl know, you know? Like they're just kind of like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. And also it's also like she's bald. Yeah. So it's like it's easy to, especially back then,
like she's
for
radical.
Someone, right, who doesn't look like the norm, to be like, oh, she's a freak.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. The SNL event pretty much ended Sinead's international career. Like it's fucking crazy how, like, I don't think, like I can't emphasize like how huge this was.
Yeah.
Because I think like we've all seen it play out so many times now, like us, our generation. Because every time there's like a fucking shocking countdown show,
yeah,
you always see them bring this up. But it was like fucking huge. It she had been front and center. She was multi-Grammy nominee. Every time she dropped an album, she was getting nominated for Grammys. She was always top of Billboard chart. And after this, people were just unwilling to acknowledge her as much, unwilling to give her much airtime whatsoever.
Yeah.
Plus, in the Atlantic article, they said that right around this time, also the Cranberries were blowing up. So they had a new Irish pixie girl to love.
True. And Dolores O'Riordan just be yodeling and shit.
Right?
Kind of like,
yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Dolores.
We all fell for it.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Sinead then, in response to all the backlash, issued a statement saying that she was retiring from music and she moved back to Dublin.
I feel like Sinead needs to live somewhere else, man.
Not Dublin?
Yeah, not Dublin.
After the Bob Dylan concert, a rally in New York was held where piles of her records, tapes, and CDs were crushed by a steamroller, and Sinead fell into severe depression. After being more vocal about the abuse that she had suffered at the hands of her mother, she said that a lot of her family turned their back on her for speaking out about it.
What?
So she was in a super dark place. And at this time, she's still married to John, her first husband. And he's actually seems like a good guy. He like had her move in with him. He urged her to go to therapy, which she did. And, you know, she started seeing more of her son, which helped her just get better a little bit, effectively better, right?
Yeah.
So then she came out of retirement and dropped her next album in 1994 entitled Universal Mother. It wasn't a huge hit, but it did get notice for her music video Fire on Babylon, which is really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went on tour with Lollapalooza in 1995, but she dropped out because she got pregnant with her daughter Royson, who was born later that year. Not to John.
No, okay.
Not to her.
Even though
husband.
that's still her husband.
Yeah, right around this time they did get divorced.
Okay.
Royson was fathered by Irish journalist John Waters, not to be confused with actor John Waters. Actually, when I read that, I had to look that up. I was like, wait.
Hold up.
It's not John Waters that I'm thinking about.
I love John Waters.
I know, he's tight. But anyway, so this Irish John Waters and Sinead then entered into a super long custody battle after their daughter was born. And Sinead ended up losing, and her daughter grew up with Waters.
So at that time, is Sinead, I mean, why does she lose custody? Was she showing signs of instability or something?
I think she does. And I think especially we're in like 95, right?
Yeah.
Just like, I think her prior,
like the image that people.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think like even the ripping up the Pope thing, you don't think that he could bring that up and be like, she's unstable. Like,
yeah, especially in Ireland.
Yeah, like the daughter needs to grow up with me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily right, but
I
could see how somebody could win that case.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The very same year, Sinead called into the television show After Dark, which is a BBC late night discussion program. It ran in like the 90s. Mm-hmm. And she asked the producers if she could appear in order to discuss the Catholic Church and the abuse that she was trying to talk about years prior. They allegedly set it all up and sent a taxi over to her house, but true to her attitude, she didn't arrive until 10 minutes before the show was set to end. And then she argued on set for like half a second about how the church was refusing to accept the victim's statements, which was true. But whatever merit her arguments had were overshadowed by her lateness and just the overall lack of professionalism.
That is so unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate. And it really,
like, if you're gonna take up this mantle, if you're gonna be by your own choosing to be like the poster child for this,
or like the whistleblower,
right? I think that you have to assume the responsibility and be the best advocate that you can be.
Yeah, like don't you owe that to the victims?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not her fault.
It's not her fault,
but it's unfortunate.
It's super unfortunate, and it really bothers me too with Sinead is that the media and people, they like to point the finger at her and call her aggressive and angry. Mm-hmm. And I do like she is.
But wouldn't you be?
No, right. Yeah. Like she is. And I hate to say that, but yeah, she's a passionate advocate. Yeah. And I don't think they would be saying the same things if she was a man.
Oh, true.
And I don't think we would be having the same conversation You know, that the way they kind of like painted this picture of who Sinead was because of her outspokenness. In the late 1990s, Sinead got a renegade Irish bishop to ordain her as a priest.
That's right. I remember she would do interviews with the caller and shit.
Yes. But the Catholic Church obviously said this is invalid, not only because she's a woman, but also because this is, quote, clearly bizarre. After she was ordained, Sinead told the public that she wished to be called Mother Bernadette Mary.
Isn't that Whoopi's name in Sister Act?
She said that she did this because she needed to work from the inside to help the church and to make the church good again. But obviously nothing really panned out with this, except, like May said, you kind of saw her wearing clerical collars around interviews and shit. This is like super unfortunate.
I mean, she looked dope though.
Man.
That shit looks sick.
It's because she's bald and shit too.
Yeah. Is she like smoking cigarettes always when she's wearing that?
And her accent's so dope.
Yeah.
She's got a thick Irish accent. In the 2000s, Sinead got really into having kids and getting married a few more times.
Whoa. I didn't know. I actually didn't even know she had kids.
Yeah. In an interview with Curve magazine in the year 2000, Sinead made some controversial comments regarding her sexuality. She said, quote, "I'm a dyke." Is dyke derogatory?
Oh, yeah. Not if you're a dyke.
Like, but for me to say it, is it derogatory? I'm asking because, like, should I not say that?
No, I think it's okay.
Okay. So Sinead said, quote, "I'm a dyke. Although I haven't been very open about that throughout most of my life, and I've gone out with blokes because I haven't been comfortable about being a big lesbian." But right after that interview came out, she got a lot of heat for it, and she had to give another interview saying, "Sorry, I was just overcompensating by declaring myself a lesbian, and really I was trying to, quote, make someone else feel better."
What?
I don't know what that means.
The fuck?
It's shady though. It's shady and I love it.
Okay, girl. Shit.
She said, "I'm a dyke" while wearing that clerical collar. That would be iconic.
I'm fascinated by the term big lesbian too.
Yeah, because she's a skinny person. So
that's just
that
like
mean?
A regular lesbian. Yeah. A supersized
I'm
lesbian.
A thin lesbian.
I'm a big ass lesbian.
In 2001, Sinead had her second marriage to British journalist Nick Summerlad. They divorced in 2004, the same year that she had her third child, Shane. Shane was fathered by Irish musician Donal Lunny. This is starting to get confusing.
Damn, so like
everybody's
it's never
overlapping.
By her husband at the time.
It's like the babies are always by somebody else.
What the fuck?
Yo, low-key, that's very feminist.
That's true.
Oh,
yeah, we don't deserve Sinead, man.
I hope she's like, "I'm pregnant," to her husband and tells him like, "I'm pregnant by somebody else," while wearing a clerical collar.
We'll make it work, baby.
What is the male equivalent of a side bitch? Is it still a side bitch? Bitch is universal, right?
I think it's piece.
Oh, side piece. Okay.
Yeah.
I love a side piece like at KFC.
2 piece and a biscuit. That's how I live my life.
Right? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, Shane was fathered by her side piece Irish musician Donal Lunny. In 2006, she had her 4th child with a man named Frank. That's all information I had about that baby.
Okay, shout out to you, Frank.
Okay, so on July 22nd, 2010, Sinead was married for a 3rd time to her friend, Australian musician Steve Cooney, but they quickly separated the following year. And then in 2011, she got married for the 4th time to Irish therapist Barry Harridge.
I hope that wasn't her therapist.
I don't think it was.
Okay.
They lived together for 7 days and then filed for annulment.
Okay.
In July 2007, Sinead gave an interview with a magazine called Christianity Today, where she proclaimed that she was, yes, still a Christian. Oh, no, she proclaimed that she was now a Christian. And she said that her faith gave her the strength to live through and overcome the effects of her own child abuse.
Okay, so things are sounding promising, I guess.
A little bit, yeah. Okay, so then in 2009, there was this lengthy report called the Irish Child Abuse Commission, which detailed cases of sexual abuse of thousands of children over 70 years. I'm going to gloss over this. Okay, maybe I should have given a trigger warning with this one. I forgot.
Yeah. Watch the movie Spotlight.
Seriously. Although Spotlight is about America mostly.
America. Yeah.
Although obviously there's overlap. But anyways, okay, the Irish Child Abuse Commission detailed the cases of sexual abuse of thousands of children over 70 years within the Catholic Church and within Catholic schools run from the 1930s all the way through the 90s.
Wow.
It detailed the efforts the church took in concealing the abuse and protecting the priests, and it was later used by the government to try and prosecute as many priests as they could. But nothing was able to come of it in terms of prosecutions, although it was seen as this gigantic expose. Once again, if you watch Spotlight, it's very similar.
You know that, I don't know how, because I went to Catholic school, I don't know how I ended up doing this, but a couple weeks ago, I found that on the internet, at least for the Los Angeles Archdiocese.
You can do it for the San Bernardino. I already know what you're going to say because I've done it for the San Bernardino one also.
You can look up your church or your school or whatever and then see all the priests that have been accused of some sort of sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
And it was
chilling,
chills.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Creepy.
The Irish government and the church contributed to compensation funds for the victims and families of the victims.
I don't care how much it is. It's never enough. It's not going to be enough.
Pope Benedict XVI, remember that fool?
Where you at?
He's running laps on the fucking Vatican grounds.
He's in
They showed
his
him the other
condo wearing Prada shoes.
They showed him jogging the other day, I'm serious, on the grounds of the Vatican. Pope Benedict XVI summoned the Irish bishops to the Vatican following the release of the report, and the Vatican then released a pastoral letter on March 20th, 2010, addressing the Catholics of Ireland. The Pope said he was truly sorry to the harm done and to those who suffered sinful and criminal abuse at the hands of priests, brothers, and nuns. He acknowledged the mistakes, but did not ask for the resignation of the Cardinal of Ireland, which most people thought that they were going to. So the letter was received to mixed reviews, obviously. Some survivors said they did feel like it brought them some closure, while others said what I'm thinking, which it's too little, too late, not enough action.
Not enough at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a letter
is nothing. Yeah.
On March 26, 2000, a letter, but I think some of the people that said they did feel closure said that they felt closure just by the fact that the Pope was acknowledging it too. That was a big thing for them, which is awful that that's a big thing for them.
Yeah. Because imagine how this affected your whole life. And not only your life, but also your faith, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it shakes both things to its core. And then how does it affect the way that you treat and bring up your own children? And it's
exactly,
generational trauma.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. On March 26th, 2010, Sinead spoke to Anderson Cooper about the Catholic sexual abuse scandal that had just came out in Ireland. The same week, she published an opinion piece in the Washington Post calling the Vatican a nest of devils and outlining her time as a teenager in the Catholic asylum where she spent her youth. After Pope Francis was elected, Sinead gave another statement saying, quote, "I wish everyone the best, and I don't know him, so I'm not going to rush to judge him, but he has a scientifically impossible task because the Catholic Church is drowning in a sea of conditional love and it can't survive." She said she believes the office of the Pope itself is anti-Christian, and the idea that Christ needs a representative is laughable, and what we need to do is rescue God from religion. I think that Sinead fights with her own faith most of her life,
Yeah.
And we kind of just see it played out in a super aggressive way because she's just an aggressive person. She's definitely Catholic and Christian most of her life, believing in God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, but doesn't, I mean, obviously hates the structure of the church itself and what it's done to her and to a lot of people.
Which is understandable. There's nothing out of left field about that.
No, but she's misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Miley Cyrus in 2013. What? I know this is not to jump guns, but like Miley Cyrus in 2013 gave an interview to Rolling Stone saying that her music video Wrecking Ball was inspired by Sinead's music video Nothing Compares to You.
How, Sway?
I would like to insert a gigantic eye roll.
Miley Cyrus is a queen. You don't slander her.
Shut up, hobo. Are you drunk? Sinead then responded to Miley in an open letter, which she published on her own website. Sinead warned Miley of the treatment of women in the music industry and the role of sexuality. And the most interesting part is where she says, quote, and this is to Miley, the message you keep sending is that it's somehow cool to be prostituted. It's so not cool, Miley. It's dangerous. Women are to be valued for so much more than their sexuality. We aren't merely objects of desire. I would be encouraging you to send healthier messages to your peers that they and you are worth more than what is currently going on in your career.
I don't like that. Okay, this is like the first time I think I'm like, but you're wrong, Sinead.
Yeah,
because that's the problem of not of the woman that's expressing her sexuality. That's the problem of the viewer that's viewing them in this very narrow thing, that this is the only thing that she is.
Right. I don't like most criticisms of like women expressing their sexuality. That just like pisses me off. Women to women, men to women. Like women are we are sexual beings. That's why we are fucking here. Like, yeah, I don't like that. Yeah. Miley responded to the open letter in a tweet saying, quote, before Amanda Bynes, ellipses. I'm saying it now. Because the first time I said it, that shit was funny, and now I just keep saying it.
This shit is so funny.
There was, and then she added a picture of Sinead O'Connor. Okay. But that's fucking rude because Amanda Bynes is going through something, Miley. You fucking irresponsible.
Oh, this was
2013.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So then that kind of blew over. Whatever. Wendy William talked about it. I watched that shit on YouTube. Then in August 2017, Sinead came back to the public's attention when she posted a 12-minute video on her Facebook page crying hysterically, saying that she had lost custody of her 13-year-old son and she wanted to kill herself for the past 2 years.
This is so scary.
It was really, really scary. She then appeared on Dr. Phil the following month in order to help, quote, destigmatize mental illness. A lot of Sinead, too, talking kind of makes her look unhinged because she talks so fast and she says so much, like it's all like ranting. Yeah. And like it just kind of makes her look bad. But it's not, what she says isn't necessarily wrong. In October 2018, Sinead publicly announced that she had converted to Islam in a ceremony that was conducted in Ireland. She then...
How many...
conversions?
How many conversions do they have? You think they have in Ireland? How many mosques do you think there
are? It's like a speakeasy mosque too. Like it's behind a Catholic church or something.
You gotta have the password.
Yeah.
The password is Inshallah. No, the password is Habibi.
Habibi. She also changed her name to Shuhara David.
Oh, that's fire.
She thanked her fellow Muslims on Twitter for their support. And now, like you were saying, we often see her wearing a hijab. Later that year, Sinead tweeted that people who were not Muslims were disgusting.
Oh, no.
She said, quote, what I'm about to say is something so racist, I never thought my soul could ever feel it. But truly, I never want to spend time with white people again, if that's what non-Muslims are called. Not for one moment, not for any reason. They are disgusting. She's like Gina Rodriguez. do you not know what you are, girl?
The whites, they're at it again. Girl,
I'm gonna just start talking shit about Salvadorians here.
Is she an alcoholic or something?
I'm not going to not assume that she doesn't have drinking problems. I don't want to be stereotypical of like Irish people either.
Irish people? No.
But
did she go to rehab?
She's got
or
all the
something like
ingredients.
that? Yeah.
No, I never saw that she ever went to rehab.
Okay. Because she also has like her face is bloated sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I just think she's older. She actually doesn't look bad. She looks like a woman who's like 47 or whatever. She just doesn't do like work, to herself. So Sinead then stepped back like a few weeks later, saying that she only tweeted those things in an effort to force Twitter to close down her account.
You could just
cancel
close
your
it down.
She apologized in 2019, saying that it wasn't true at the time and it isn't true now. She was triggered as a result of the Islamophobia she was facing, and she apologized for all the hurt that her words may have caused.
This is like on Seinfeld. Remember when Bryan Cranston is that
The
dentist?
Yeah,
who converts to Judaism, and now he can start saying
Jewish stuff,
Jewish jokes, like anti-Semitic jokes.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, now that I'm Muslim, time to start being spicy."
So that's basically where we're at with Sinead O'Connor, a woman with a very powerful voice.
So she's okay.
She's okay-ish, I think. Obviously, there's a lot we don't hear about her now as much because she's not in the public eye as much. She doesn't make music as much. She does still perform live shows. I just saw a really beautiful performance. She's wearing a hijab and she does Nothing Compared to You live. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's on YouTube somewhere. So that's Sinead O'Connor.
Good job, Steph.
Thank you.
I love this story, man. Like, it's such a complicated, misunderstood woman.
Yeah, and like falling short often, right?
Yeah.
And it's like frustratingly so. Like
she's flawed. I
Yeah.
mean, just like all of us. And maybe she could have flown under the radar if she wouldn't have taken up that mantle,
Yeah, but good for her for doing it. I mean, like it takes a lot of courage, a lot of bravery.
Yeah. Also, if she, I don't know, like if she just had a stable, I don't know, like someone who cared about her, a partner or like someone in her career that maybe supported her, maybe she would have been more successful in what she was trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Both in like her activism and in her career, honestly.
No, definitely.
What could have been? All right, guys. Well, that was this week's another Dark Drama Club.
Yeah. Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter if you want to cry at Drama Club Pod. Hit us up on the website, dramaclubpod.com, and on our Gmail, dramaclubpod@gmail.com.
On the hotline, 505-539-0556. Buy a sticker. Leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Send us a postcard at P.O. Box number 27433, LACA 90027. And we'll talk to you on Monday for a brand new Afternoon Delight episode.
Bye.
Bye.
However, whatever with your helmet.